Okay, so get ready for this super intense story. It all starts at this farmhouse tucked away in the mountains, right? This family, the Grady's, live there, and Grady himself has his wife, kids, and his brother Rowdy. So Grady goes off hunting in the mountains with his friends, but then like 10 whole days pass and no one's heard from them. They've just like vanished. The cops even do a search, but the weather's so bad they have to stop. And everyone knows those mountains are like a one-way trip. So back at the farm, Rowdy, Grady's brother, is looking after the family. And get this, there's this other guy, Eddie, who lives in his van nearby. Anyway, we see Rowdy and Grady's wife, Ellen, together, and it's super clear they've got like a thing going on. Their eldest son, Drake, has totally caught on, and he starts avoiding Rowdy. Drake, bless his heart, actually thinks Rowdy doesn't want his dad to come back, so he decides to go search for him himself, even though Rowdy actually loves his brother a ton and is super worried about him. He tries to stop Drake from going alone and like takes a horse to go look for Grady himself. Even with a bad leg, climbing those mountains is no biggie for him when it comes to his brother. But get this, none of that was even needed because like a second later, Grady's back. But he's in such a messed up state they can barely even tell it's him. He can barely walk, his face looks terrifying, and he's super weak, like he's gonna collapse any second. They help him to his room and call the doctor. The doctor's like, yeah, he's super weak, but it's a miracle he even made it back from those mountains. No one could have survived that long without eating. So he figures Grady must have eaten something to stay alive. The doc says they gotta keep giving him food and water to help him recover. As soon as food is mentioned, Grady gives his son the super creepy look, and even his kid is scared. A bit later, Rowdy and Drake are like totally fighting. Drake's all, Dad's back, so we don't need you anymore. And he angrily calls Rowdy Ponchvi and tells him to stay away from his mom. Rowdy, trying to be calm, says, you don't know the truth yet, so just chill and help your mom. When Drake goes inside, his mom has already made food for Grady. Drake goes upstairs with the food and then tells Rowdy, dude, I can't find Grady. When I look in his eyes, it feels like someone else is in there. Then he hears this terrible noise like a bunch of stuff breaking. He goes upstairs and sees that Drake dropped the food. Ellen starts talking to Drake, and Drake says, it wasn't me. Grady dropped the food himself. But now Grady is like screaming from hunger. When Ellen goes to check on him, Grady, get this, licks her body in this super weird and creepy way and says, that tastes good. Ew! Does that mean he wants to eat humans? Ellen is totally freaked out. Then they show a picture of Grady when he was like normal. So it's night and everyone's asleep. In the middle of the night, they hear a horse screaming and some gnarly snoring. Rowdy goes outside and sees someone has attacked his horse, like totally torn him up. He looks around, but there are no animals or people. But then it zooms back and we see Grady looking at the horse with these weird eyes and a creepy smile. After all this commotion, their neighbor, Eddie, shows up. Rowdy thinks it's a wild animal, but Eddie, get this, has totally figured it out. He thinks Grady did all this. So, first thing in the morning, he goes to see Grady and pulls out a knife. He starts telling Grady his childhood story, how his uncle came back from those same mountains, just like Grady, super weak, and then his uncle killed Eddie's entire family. The police had to shoot him dead to stop him from killing everyone else. Eddie tells Grady, I know you've got the same power my uncle got. It's eating you from the inside, making you hollow. If you get it out, you'll be fine. After hearing this, Grady suddenly sits bolt upright like a ghost and screams, he's already done it! He's taken over my body! He's made me hollow! Eddie now thinks of killing him, but Grady, reads his mind and tells him, don't even think about it. You're an old man. You've got no strength, and I'm a good farmer. If you kill me, you'll be in jail your whole life. As soon as he says this, he falls back into bed and Eddie leaves. Grady is scared. He wants to warn everyone about the danger. So he goes to Rowdy and starts telling him everything, that the Grady he's seeing isn't Grady anymore. It's Grady's body, but the soul of Vindico has taken over. Vindico is this devilish soul from the mountains who possesses people, a cannibal, a murderer who eats humans. Before Vindico, in Grady's body, attacks his family, Grady tells Rowdy to kill him somehow. Here's another twist. Ellen goes to Grady's room and sees the food still there. She's picking it up and turning to leave when Grady calls her in his own voice. For a second, it feels like the devilish soul is asleep and the real Grady is back. He tells Ellen, we went hunting, but we got lost. We took shelter in a cave. 4 people went for help but never came back. Grady and his friends were starving, and then Grady heard this strange voice in his ear. saying, "Let me in, I'll save you." That was the devilish soul, and to save himself, Grady said yes, and the soul came inside him. As soon as the soul possessed him, Grady started doing weird stuff. He tells Ellen that the soul made him kill his own friend, and then he killed him and ate him. Grady warns Ellen that the devilish soul inside him wants to hunt more. He just finishes telling her all this when Ellen gets super scared and tries to leave. But before she can, Grady is suddenly in front of her. He grabs her by the neck, and drool is coming out of his mouth like he's ready to eat her. Before he can attack her, Rowdy points a gun at him from behind. Grady gets mad, goes into the room, closes the door, and starts destroying everything, screaming in the scary voice that even Drake and his brother hear and are terrified by. To save themselves, Ellen is about to leave with the kids and Rowdy when Eddie shows up. Eddie had actually decided he was going to kill Grady. To save them all, he tells them to go in his van. Drake refuses, thinking he needs to save his dad. He slaps him and says, "Drake, do you think that's your dad? Look at him. He has a devilish soul inside him. We have to kill him or he'll kill us." Grady told me all this himself. After saying this, they leave the house. Eddie goes upstairs to kill Grady, but before he can, Grady comes from behind, attacks his neck, and kills him. Meanwhile, Rowdy comes out with his gun, determined to kill Grady. Ellen comes behind him and hugs him. After that, he goes into the house, seeing nothing. He immediately sees Eddie's dead body. Then he goes to Grady's room, full of anger to kill him. But Grady is like lying on his bed, helpless. Before Rowdy can kill him, Grady starts acting all poor and helpless. Rowdy feels pity for his brother, and as soon as he gets emotionally weak, Grady attacks him. Hearing the noise, Ellen realizes the danger. She takes her children out of the van and hides them somewhere else. And then Grady appears, dragging Rowdy's dead body. He forces Ellen into the kitchen and puts Rowdy's body on the table. He starts telling Ellen what to do with him, telling her to do something super dangerous, cook Rowdy's meat. He tells her to cut Rowdy into pieces, boil water, make Rowdy soup, and give it to him. Ellen is totally not okay with this. How could she? When she refuses, Grady slaps her hard and she falls down. She looks over and sees Drake has come to save her. But if Grady's suspicion is raised, he'll kill Drake first. So to distract Grady, she starts doing what he told her to do. She starts cutting Rowdy's body into pieces and puts all the meat in a bowl. Then she starts boiling the soup. Meanwhile, Drake is, secretly loading the gun behind his back. After cooking the soup, Ellen puts a bowl in front of Grady. He tells her to prepare another bowl because he wants her to eat the meat with him. Ellen clearly says she's not hungry, but then from behind, Drake accidentally drops a bullet and it falls. Now Grady's attention is definitely going that way, so in desperation, Ellen is ready to listen to Grady and eat Rowdy's meat. She takes a bowl and sits down, and in helplessness, she has to eat Rowdy's meat. First, Grady takes a bite, and then he starts eating like a wild animal. As soon as his bowl is empty, he grabs Ellen by the collar and tells her, "My condition is because of you and Rowdy." Before he can kill Ellen, Drake fires a bullet from behind. Grady lets go of Ellen and runs away, but Ellen is hurt. When Drake comes to help her, Ellen tells him to go save Tim. He must have reached Tim by now. She says Drake listens and goes to Tim, and what does he see? Grady is scarily strangling his brother, about to kill him. That's when Drake comes from behind. Grady lets go of Tim for a minute and says to Drake, "You should all stay together. You know where? In my stomach." As soon that he says this, he starts laughing in this super scary way. His eyes are also white, which means the Grady inside is now dead, and in front of us is Vindico. When Tim calls him again, Drake fires a bullet from behind and Grady falls unconscious. At this point, they think they're saved, but that's just what they think, because suddenly Grady gets up and grabs Drake from behind, about to kill him. Just in time, Ellen reaches them. She puts a gun in Grady's mouth while saving Drake and shoots him in the head. Finally, he's dead. Grady is dead, his body is unconscious, but the scary sounds coming from inside Grady are still there, which means Vindico isn't dead yet. What new danger will he bring? And with that suspense, the story ends. Wow.